is synonymous with normal. Now you see, there are people 4.5 inches, they're also normal. 4 feet 6 inches normal, 6 feet 6 inches normal. Now when we put mean plus 2 standard deviation, it becomes 5.4 inches. Now what we did, instead of calling it as average, we called it as normal, which means applying disease statistics on the healthy population. So what happens, thousands of people on either side who are normal, but they become patients. This is called false positive. For one parameter of the body, there are 5 to 25% false positives. Today, if you went for a checkup, there is what's called the total body scanner, which measures 750 parameters at a given time. So even if you take it at 5%, 750 into 5 is how much? My mathematics is very bad. How much is that? Huh? 3,750. This girl must be right because she is in the IIT. Now what happens? What happens? 100 people go in for a checkup, 3,550 patients come out. Did you understand that? It is as simple as that. And that is what is causing all the problems for medicine and creating more problems, because we start treating everyone. American audit showed 95% of Americans, 95% of Americans are on at least one drug a day. One drug a day. And 1 in 20 people have 3 drugs a day. All because you have a new syndrome called doctor thinks you have a disease syndrome. And now we have created so much of anxiety in society, we have a new disease. Patient thinks she has a disease syndrome. If you take them off, it's about 40% of the patient load. So this girl resigned from her job, this professor of medicine, because she said, my God, I'm teaching wrong things in the class. So she sat the MCAT exam again and got a regular seat in the medical college, joined the same medical college where she was a professor, came out after 4 years and wrote a book, What We Don't Teach in the Medical School. I wanted to send her my book, What Doctors Don't Get to Study in Medical School, which I have written 20 years ago. And she wouldn't have had to go through the medical course again. This is what's happening. Now we misunderstand. Wellness is trying to understand the human being, trying to understand society, and trying to change your lifestyle if you want any disease to be avoided. Year was 1733. There was a brilliant professor of medicine in Vienna, which was a mecca of medicine those days. But this boy was not a son of the soil, not because he is from Chennai that he became Chennai IIT professor. He is from Volga Valley in Russia, but he was a brilliant boy. At 26, he was made professor of medicine. He wrote the first textbook in English. He wrote of diseases. Disease I have seen with vehement agitation of the mind and spastic constriction of the human organs. He was talking about hypertension, diabetes, and what have you. And do you know what the treatment he said? 1733, change of mode of living, tranquility of mind, drugs, rarely ever, comma, if ever, full stop. If I am to write a book in 2016, I would write the same thing. I will give you some examples. Your blood pressure has gone up. You go to the doctor. The minute the doctor touches you, you see the doctor, go to the doctor's office itself, your blood pressure has gone up, because that's called the reflex reaction, because we were hunter-gatherers in the forest. So if you sleep like your air-conditioned concrete rooms now, the tiger will eat you. So any noise, you must wake up. So you get what's called the roving eye movement, the light sleep. And if anybody touches you, you get alert. So doctor touches you, your blood pressure goes up. Now what is this blood pressure? Have you ever thought about it? You were all in CET exam before coming to IIT, right? There the physics professor will say, linear flow in a tube cannot exert lateral pressure, because if it does, it won't flow. Cosine 90 is 0, right? Agreed? Agreed? Student mugs it up, gets first rank in the CET, goes to the medical college and comes to the first MBBS class. Professor of physiology comes. Blood pressure is a lateral pressure exerted on the vessel wall by the flowing blood. He'll mugs it up. See? Why? Because our educational system is such that whatever the teacher says is gospel truth, and you've got to follow it, otherwise you will fail in the exam, which is true. Last part is true. So what happens? You have become an idiot. You have never questioned what is his blood pressure. And what is the normal blood pressure? I don't know. I know average blood pressure, but I don't know the normal blood pressure. But there's a committee called JNC, Joint National Committee. All wise people sit there in America, and each one of them have now been found to get millions of dollars from the drug companies. That's a different story. They lowered it and lowered it and lowered it. When I was a student in the 1956-55 in Chennai, our blood pressure normal was 160 by 110. When I passed some things and became MD, and it became 140 by 90. So I wrote to the hypertension committee, how did you bring it down? They said, we have evidence. I said, where is the evidence? So I wrote an article, evidence-based medicine or evidence-burdened medicine. Anyway, after some years it became 120 by 80. And after some time it became 110 by 70. All evidence-based. Now suddenly the 8th JNC report says, no, all this is bad, we have killed millions of people, and the blood pressure must be 159 by 99, like the Bata shoes, not 2000. Because I had written a book in 1933 on hypertension where I said the normal blood pressure should not be below 160 systolic for an adult and 100 diastolic for an adult. So they can't replicate the same thing because they'll be copying mine. So there's 159. Then I wrote to the committee, there is no 9 in the box. It's either 8 or 0. Chalta hai. That is called the science of hypertension. But what is this hypertension? We have not seen that. God gave us a special apparatus in the body when we were hunter-gatherers in the forest, lest we should be eaten by the tigers or killed by the snakes. And you see a tiger, you should be able to run away. Those days to run away in that forest. What do you read to run away today? Glucosade, right? There's no glucosade in the forest. So God said, okay, I will provide you some sugar. So he gave packets of gunny bags of glycogen in the liver, kept ready. Whenever you want, it will become glucose. It's called neoglucogenesis. New glucose is born. Then he gave you something to tickle your heart so that the heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up, and you're ready to run. In the forest, you see a tiger, and you want to run away from the tiger, your blood pressure goes up, your sugar goes up, your cholesterol goes up, your steroids go up, everything goes up. Then you run away from the tiger for your life. All these things come down. Now we have transplanted ourselves into society today. Only 10,000 years. We have not changed, we have not mutated in 10,000. It takes 10 million years for us to mutate. We are still having the autonomic nervous system which God gave us in the forest. So we have in the city today, not those tigers, but human tigers. Your boss may be a tiger, your assistant may be a tiger, your husband may be a tiger, your wife may be a tiger, your son may be a tiger, your assistant may be a tiger, your student may be a tiger. Now what happens? You see these tigers and same reaction occurs. Your blood pressure goes up, your sugar goes up, your steroid goes up, your cholesterol goes up. Now you can't run away from this tiger. Supposing your boss is your tiger, you can't run away, you want the job. And if you don't run away, it remains permanently raised and becomes a disease. You come to the doctor, we have our calculations. I told you how blood pressure is calculated, and we have a chemical. We give that. And then we show in the box the blood pressure come down. But the changes have not gone. Our treatment does not do any good to you. All side effects come. But we tell you that on record your blood pressure is below normal. The same thing can be done by changing a lifestyle. Instead of seeing your boss as a tiger and hating him as a tiger, this is management. You make a friend of your boss. And when once you love your boss, I tell you, your blood pressure comes down. Your sugar comes down. Your cholesterol comes down. This is called change of mode of living. So disease management is not through reductionist chemicals which damage the system whichever way you want. We have to change our mode of living. How do you do that? Compassion, enthusiasm to be compassionate. Why should you be compassionate? You may say, what is this fellow talking? Is it religion? No, I'm talking science, man. Do you know how we are born here? We have not been monkeys, as Darwin and Mendel and all said. We were monkeys and dogs and then, snake and then human beings. No. It is better to be a fish than a bird. Fish is very simple. Only one circulation. No lungs, no pulmonary hypertension, no disease of lungs, nothing. It's simply gill and it gets. Why do you want to be a bird with 2 lungs, pulmonary circulation? So much a complication, no? So not survivor of the fittest. Why do you have to there? Now you were a snake, fine. No coronary artery at all for a snake. Snake sucks its blood from the cavity. So why did you develop a coronary artery as a man and then get bypass surgery, angioplasty and all? Could be a snake. We make you a snake. Do you know that? We do an operation called TMR, total myocardial revival. We make holes in the heart inside so that you suck your blood also like the snake from the, and it's very simple. Why did you become a man? What was the advantage? Nothing. So we have been not coming up this Darwinian thing. The evolution is environmental. And what had happened was, this universe which is there for about 4 billion years was inhabited by germs in the first 2 billion years. They were like us, hating each other, killing each other. And then they found out this won't work. So they started helping others. How did they do? First they did a big laboratory, better than the IIT Chennai laboratory. What's that? Green leaf. What did they do? Chlorophyll, took water vapor, sunlight and carbon dioxide and made chlorophyll, which is the base of every food. Even if you are eating only pork every day, it comes from the, it gets its energy from the, then this girl says, no, I am eating only fish. What is it you're talking about? The large fish eats the smaller fish eats the smaller, that's what happens in society. The larger fish eats the smaller fish. The smallest fish eats plankton, which is a green leaf. So anyway, after that, do you know what they did? They had a disease, too much oxygen. They converted all the carbon dioxide into chlorophyll, too much oxygen. Then they realized too much oxygen is bad. You know, they have taught us this. In the olden days, if you see it at cinema, somebody gets a heart attack, immediately on this thing in the cinema that, you know, have ambulance and all. We killed 15 million people by giving oxygen after a heart attack. We should not give oxygen. We don't give now, unless you have got real hypoxemia, we don't give oxygen, because hyperoxygen is very bad for recovery. You have seen our sannyasis in Himalayas, they live 120 years because they have very little oxygen there. We have 100% oxygen in Chennai and we die very early. So what do? We have now devised a new test to reduce the blood supply to the heart for making the heart more protective and prevent another heart attack. When the heart attack comes, the patient should not die. It's called producing more blocks in the coronary arteries. It's an old ancient method in Ayurveda yoga, and it's very simple. If you did that, you get intermittent hypoxemia to your heart. What you do is, you just stand like this and just take a breath, you see. Now I am breathing out, breathing out, breathing out, breathing out. I am sitting in a chair, there is no chair, breathing out, breathing out, breathing out. I breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. What did I do? I breathed in for 4 seconds and probably breathed out for 20 seconds. So 16 seconds of hypoxemia I have given to the heart. This will make the heart stronger. And one more thing this does concurrently. See our thinking of our ancient people, something great. Your large muscle, which starts from the chest there at the back and covers all the abdominal organs like a plate, like this fruit plate. It covers everything. And then comes and attaches to your thigh here. It's called the iliopsoas muscle. And this is the only exercise that can exercise that muscle. You try this exercise. It looks very simple. Don't try it suddenly and do it. Try this. You will have no aches and pains anywhere because all other muscles get relaxed when once the iliopsoas gets relaxed. So it's all in managing time, managing the money, managing the world, and managing health by managing your mind, which is the biggest master. And it's very simple to manage the mind. Fill the mind with universal love, such that there is no opportunity for anything negative to come in. I jokingly tell my students, people are worried, oh, is there cholesterol in this? Is ghee good? This is bad? I said, don't worry, that stress itself, ghee bad, this bad, will kill you. It is not what you eat that kills you, it is what eats you that kills you, your negative thoughts. So don't let your negative thoughts kill you by saying that, I don't like this professor from China. Then your cells get confused. My cells love his cells because we met in the other room, we are sitting close to each other. And my cells get confused. Hey, what's this fellow saying? After some time, what happens, supposing I really struggle to destroy him, I may not succeed, but I'll do that. My cells start hating, hey, this fellow is bad. He's hating everybody. So my cells start hating my own cells, which is called autoimmune disease, one of the dangerous diseases. We have no treatment at all. Varieties of autoimmune diseases are there. You analyze your mind and find out. Today one patient came, very sophisticated girl. RA, said doctor, RA. And she has got this much of file and so much of medicine. But no relief, doctor. Just give me some relief. I said, whom do you hate, young lady? Oh, no, I don't hate nobody. No. I don't hate anybody. I love everybody. And after some time, we were talking, and then it suddenly came to her sister, whom she hates so much that the very mention of her sister, her hair was standing up. I said, what about your sister? Irko. I said, look, go home, analyze yourself, and find out how many people in this world you hate, how many people you want to destroy, how many are a little jealous of, we are jealous of everything. Supposing I go out now, let us say, the beautiful BMW car parked in your porch. Fascinating car. A little J, capital J. Now what I normally do is, if there is nobody there, I take some metal piece and one line. Yourself start hating you. I tell these people a very simple method of managing that. I see that beautiful Mercedes-Benz car or BMW car. I love that car. Then I go to the owner when he comes. Sir, what a beautiful car you got. Wonderful car. Congratulations, sir. It's a fascinating car. The man's ego gets puffed up. He says, would you like a ride in this car? Yes, sir. He opens the door. You sit inside the car, and he takes you around. One round of IIT campus, 650 acres. And it takes a whole day, and then you come back. By then you praise him so much, then he says, would you like to drive this car and feel the, yes sir. Then you get to drive the car. What more do you want? So see how you can convert jealousy into love. Instead of scratching the car, you manage that by getting all the benefits of the car. So don't you think that is easier? Your blood pressure comes down to normal, your sugar is normal, you are normal, you don't have anything. So, my dear young men and women and of all ages, it was pleasure talking to you. I know what you will say when you go home. What was this fellow talking about? I had a friend of mine, a parish priest who goes from place to place lecturing. One day he was in Chennai, he was lecturing, it was Sunday, and he was staying in a hotel. And then those days there was no email. He's a parish priest but a Protestant one, so he had a wife at home, so he wanted to write to her, and he wrote a letter and took the letter to post it. He didn't know where the post office in Adyar was. So he asked the kids, on Sunday a lot of kids are playing on the roadside. Hey children, can you show me? Come on sir, it's a holiday for us. They were enjoying, took the hospital, he posted. Then he said, I'm a priest, I'm supposed to do good. These children have helped me, so I'll buy some chocolate. So he goes to the shop and puts his hand, the wallet is in the hotel. So he tells the children, don't worry, I have a lecture in the IIT auditorium today. The entry fees is 100 rupees per head. And Preeti is in charge. So I'll give a note to Preeti saying that these two kids must be allowed free. The children said, lecture. There are a lot of asses like BMID talking, but who will listen? So they said, sir, what are you talking about? Me, priest, I'm talking about God, heaven, way to heaven, how to be there. And children burst out laughing loudly. I said, why? Sir, we were doubting. A man who doesn't know the way to the post office, how does he know way to heaven? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we shall begin the question-answer session.
Oh my God, question session. Answer session if available. So, okay, go on. Shoot.
Okay, we've passed chits during your talk, so I have some of the questions.
Please.
Okay, first of all, they want to know if you would suggest Ayurveda or allopathy, because there is someone whose grandmother prefers herbs, whereas his mother prefers tablets.
Prefers what?
Tablets. Sir.
Tablets. Young lady, Ayurveda is also allopathy. Western medicine is also allopathy. They are not homeopathy. Allo is against, pati is disease. Anything you give against the disease is called. Ayurveda cannot be made into a tablet. Why not? What's wrong? But there is a big difference. All Western medicine tablets are chemicals, reductionist chemicals, whereas all Eastern medicines, Tibetan, Chinese or Indian, are holistic herbs. As a holistic herb, the body's intelligence accepts as mine. Reductionist chemical, the body says this is poison and I must throw it away, and it's thrown into the liver. So all the Western medicines that I give and you take are not going to help you at all, and it's only your faith in me that helps. Kai Rashin solluvaangale. So Ayurveda is that way, safer in the sense adverse drug reactions, the biggest killer today, is not there so much. But unfortunately, when money gets into these things, everything gets spoiled. Today in the name of Ayurveda, because it's easier without much restrictions to sell it, all kinds of poisons are sold to the public. So don't believe any one of these things. And if you really want Ayurveda, and if you know Ayurveda, or you know somebody who genuinely practices Ayurveda, I tell you, it's a great science, a holism. Whereas the Western medical science is reductionism, doesn't apply to the holistic human body, and we are a square plug in a round hole. So you tell your friend's mother or grandmother, okay, take this tablet, don't tell her what the tablet is. And if you tell her this is a tablet which will cure, even sand particle or silver, just glucose tablet does as well as any other thing, because that's called the placebo effect.
Okay, sir. Sir, following up on the same question, why do you think Ayurvedic medicine is not given priority even in India?
That's a good question. I think that's $1 million question. Which student asked that? He's a brilliant boy. Or she.
Sir.
Who is that? Oh, good. Parent Tambi? What's your name?
What is your name?
Naresh. Where are you from? Andhra Pradesh. Naresh, I'll tell you something. All this run on economics. 1910, there were 240 medical colleges in America teaching everything under the sun. Western medicine, herbal medicine, Tibetan medicine, chiropractic, homeopathy, osteopathy, radiotherapy. You ask, they used to teach. And they were all flourishing. Then the three big rich people in America wanted to control the world. Now are you recording this? Shall I tell the names? I don't want to tell their names. If you are recording it, I won't tell their names. Anyway, three people, okay? Three human beings. Record பண்றாங்களா? அப்ப வேண்டாம். Three human beings. They came together. They are richest people in America. They came together and said, look, we are doing very well individually. We are competing with one another. So we can control this world if we club together. So they made a consortium. And then they hired 10 brilliant American brains, all economists, and said, tell us how to control the world. This was in 1910. So they told, these people took $50 million, enjoyed life, and said, help war. You know, the First World War starting in Europe, and Europeans didn't have money. So these people pumped money into the war. And they said, you pump war, win the war, you dominate the world. But unfortunately, what happened by 1918, 4 years, this audit showed 15 million white young men died. If Africans had died or Indians had died, nothing would have happened. But white men died. And what happened? You have a new word in English language, spinster. That means girls didn't have husbands. So they started spinning. And children didn't have fathers. So they were worried. White man dying, they'll be worried. So they called another group of economists and said, no, this didn't work. Tell us how to control the world. Do you know the second group said, control world's education and you will control the world. That is where they wanted to control education. And one of the methods of controlling education was medical education. So 47 of these 240 medical colleges were funded by these people, these three people. And these were the only medical colleges using their own oil-based chemical drugs. The first drug is Nujol. Nujol in Latin means new oil. This was a byproduct of naphtha conversion into petrol. And what did they do? They didn't want to waste this Nujol. So they called a group called scientists, quote unquote. You know what scientists is? Science is what scientist does. Did you know that? No, you didn't know that. No, then very bad. Science is what scientists do. So they told them, scientifically find out whether we can use this Nujol for treating diseases. So they said fine, they got the money. So they caught hold of a few rats, injected adrenaline. Rats became mad, running helter-skelter here and there. They took the same rat, injected Nujol into it. Rat became a zombie. Oh, like that. They said this is a very good drug for mad people. So that was the first drug introduced to control madness, quote unquote madness. Don't call it a madness. And that is called largactil, large acting. Have you heard of that? It's called chlorpromazine. All of you must have known, if you don't get sleep, one chlorpromazine, largactil, compost, this, that, blah, 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 blah. From there to SSIs now, we've got hundreds of chemical molecules, all of them. And then they told the President of America, because they elected him. Who elects the President? Money bags. What controls the world? Money, man. That's why this man is very important. You know. So what happened? They told the President, look, we don't want the other colleges to run. The President said, okay, I will appoint one-man commission to study these colleges to see whether they are all scientific or not. And whom did they appoint? Abraham Flexner. Who was Abraham Flexner? A headmaster in Andrew Carnegie High School. The one-man commission called the Flexner Commission in 1910 went round the United States of America in 6 months and said, these 47 colleges are only scientific. They are doing evidence-based medicine. The rest of them are unscientific. Unlike in India, the government did not ban those colleges because there will be what is called Dharan and all. And the other, what the government did, every morning in New York Times, front page, they advertise this. 47 good, rest of them bad. And students are very intelligent. After the first year, none of them applied for the other colleges. The other colleges died a natural death. Did you now know the origin of scientific medicine? Based on the Flexner report. Go back, go to the internet and see Flexner report, Abraham Flexner's report, 1910. You will know exactly this. A school headmaster trying to find out whether science is medical college or medical college science. Anyway, those 47 have now grown into about 200 odd. So it became overnight science. So it's not science at all. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
So Ayurveda is a good science because it's holistic science and it has science. Our thing is, we use linear mathematics in a non-linear system. You understand that? Linear science, you all know, linear systems you can apply Euclidean mathematics. But non-linear system you get Mandelbrot's mathematics or non-linear mathematics. We don't know anything. Now for example, heart, you go to a doctor like me, a fool like me, what I will say, your ejection fraction is 40%. What does it mean? I am applying a linear thing, the portion of the blood pumped out by each contraction as right. Now what is happening? Heart is not a Euclidean structure at all. It is not a square, it's not a round, it's not a triangle. So how can you do that? So we have a square plug in a round hole. You see this? This is our science. So we don't have a science. I should be saying that in IIT, but I'm saying this is what is happening. And we do research on the same science. Reductionist chemicals in holistic system. And the holistic system, which is controlled by the mind, you don't know where the mind is, never mind.
Sir, can you suggest a good book which is helpful?
I'm sleeping. Okay, go on. 6 o'clock, my brain shuts up.
I'm so sorry, sir. Can you suggest a good book which is helpful for maintaining good health? I'm not talking about physical health alone, but also mental health and as well as good nutrition.
Very good book, very good. Oh, not one book, hundreds of books. I'll start with selfish things. I have written 2 books. One is called You Can Be Healthy. This is published by Macmillan's. The other one is called How to Maintain Good Health. It's published by UBS PD in Delhi. But there is another book called Last Well Person. What's the book's name? Last Well Person. That means if you go to a doctor, you are an ill person. The last well person, the screening method makes everybody a patient. This is written by an American professor, you would like. This is a very good book. Right? Nortin Hadler, Hadler, Hadler. And Hadler is a professor in the Yale University, and he has written a beautiful book. You want to have one more book?
No, sir.
Death by Prescription. Book's name is? Write down. Death by Prescription.
Okay.
Oh, you wanted only one book. This is a good book, man. Roy Sanders. It's a fascinating book. Death by Prescription. Okay, she is happy with one book.
So can you give us your opinion on abortion vis-a-vis the case of Savita Halappana?
Crime. What they did, they killed Savita. Abortion for medical reasons is not illegal. Ireland has changed its law now. And they have changed in law saying that for medical reasons, but they refused to do abortion for Savita and they killed that young girl. Of course, abortion is bad because if you want to kill everybody's child, then abortion is bad. You know feticide? Have you heard of feticide? No? You simply do scanning and say if the female child, chalo, take it out. But now you see here there's a big crowd of women, so feticide doesn't work here. Go on.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Ah, done? Good girl.
I now request Professor Vijay to felicitate the speaker with a memento.
Arey, I thought this fruit is a memento. Ippa saapidalama? Hey, I have it once already there. Where do I keep so many of them? Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you.